What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Faith. I am an astrologer and tarot reader. Okay, let's get into the full moon in Aquarius happening on August 9th, 2025. Now, this one is a juicy one. A lot is going on in the cosmos during this time, but obviously whenever you have a full moon, you have a direct opposition. So we have full moon in Aquarius directly opposing the sun in Leo as well as Mercury in Leo. And mind you, this is just at the last stretch. One of the last days Mercury will be in retrograde. Remember, Mercury does go into a bit of a shadow as it enters or exit Mercury retrograde. But we'll focus on Mercury in a second. My other dog, Sammy, is making his intro. But yeah, so not Mercury. So the full moon in Aquarius is really asking us, it's more impersonal than the new moon in Leo. So the sign of Aquarius is all about the collective, groups of people. It's more logical than it is emotional. It's about innovation. It's about revolutionizing things. And sometimes you have to think outside the box, or you have to become more of a observer than the subject. Sorry if you hear Sammy drinking water in the background, but you kind of have to take a bird's eye view and just detach yourself from a situation to come up with a new solution. Like, you can't always do the same thing and expect a different outcome. You kind of have to put yourself in a different state of mind. And that's what Aquarius is all about. So it is going to be this sense of zooming out, kind of getting an aerial view of what's been working, what hasn't been working. Where do you want to go within the next few months, right? Because with Mercury in Leo retrograde, this is the time we've taken to introspect. We figured out everything that I just said, what's been working, what hasn't been working. It's a lot of internal reflections about you. You know, Leo is all about the heart, and it's more self-centered, not in like an egocentric way, but just literally just more on yourself. And now we're moving out of that towards this full moon, and we're stepping into, okay, how am I showing up when it comes to the collective? Now, since Mercury is conjunct the sun, it's still going to be this emphasis on how we communicate and things like that. But again, I'll get to Mercury in a second. And I also want to highlight that there could be this breaking down within the collective as well, because Pluto is still in Aquarius. Now, I'm not going to say it's conjunct the full moon, because the full moon is at 17 degrees. Pluto is at like 2 degrees. So that's too far to really kind of say a conjunct, but it's still in the sign of Aquarius. So the full moon is all about illuminating different things, and it's like what power struggles, what power dynamics, or what just full-fledged global powers are we going to see break down, or what some type of truths may come to light about governments and things like that. So don't be surprised if we find more information about AI or different technological secrets or truths come out around this time as well, or new innovations that could happen as well. Okay, so if you look at the actual chart of this full moon, it has a kite formation. And at the base of the kite, we have Mars. Mars will be moved into Libra at this point. And it'll directly oppose Neptune and Saturn. So I'm going to break it down one by one, but Mars in Libra is really just balancing, your actions with your aesthetics, like really aligning with your vision. And that's really, I feel like on a collective, that's really what I'm seeing in the world. It's like everybody is just trying to do their thing, have a good time, achieve their goals, but not do too much. So we have Mars in Libra opposing Neptune and Saturn in Aries. And then on the two sides, we have Uranus, and then we have Pluto in Aquarius. So let's break this down. Mars opposing Neptune, that's definitely really, I'm going to add both in there. So Mars opposing Neptune and Saturn. With Mars and Neptune, this is the idea of, now my cat is making an entrance, so if you hear him yelling in the background, that is him. But with Mars and Neptune, it's going to be this idea of doing what you want to do versus what you have to do. So beware of escapism. Like, you might have some great ideas, but it's really this idea of, or this challenge is, does that actually serve you in the long run? Like, does that actually support what you're trying to do? And then when you throw Saturn in there, that's long-term goals. Are you actually handling your responsibilities, or is this artistic pursuit, is it actually going to sustain you long term? Like, it might be a great idea, but it may not be something that you're supposed to act on now. Or it could be vice versa, where you have these great ideas, but it's some type of stagnation. You're doubting yourself. You don't really know if you should do this and things like that. So it's like more of a delay. So keep all of these things in mind as we, go through these transits. Now, with Mars trining Uranus, this is a great time to experiment. Think like scientific method. Like, if things aren't working, then how can you break down that old hypothesis and build a new one? How can you try out different things? Because you're probably going to have an influx of new ideas. Mars will also be trining Pluto on the other side. So this Pluto is definitely going to add a depth and intensity to this full moon. It's definitely going to be calling us to go deeper. But this is all about strategy. It's about, okay, you may have a plan at this point, and how can we implement this plan in a new way or a deeper way, or how can we, really act on that transformation that you say you're seeking, but now it's time to actually embody what you've been working on for the past several months. Lastly, Mars will be sextiling Mercury. So this is the time, during Mercury retrograde, you may have said some things, or you may have been communicating in a way that might have come across as abrasive, or if your messaging just went kind of south, now is the time where you might be able to smooth that over. Like, yeah, I'm talking like messed up how American Eagle did. They probably won't be able to do that. But this is a great time where, if you have been doubting yourself and like, do I want to say this, or do I want to express this? Do I want to write this? Do I want to push this type of content out? Now is the time to actually go for that under this energy. Okay, so that is the kite formation. That is like the biggest thing or one of the biggest things in the chart. The other thing that I just want to talk about with Mercury is that, we already talked about how it's sextiling Mars, but it is also sextiling Uranus. And this is going to be, again, this flood of ideas. It's just a boost of creativity, and like, you can only do things the way that you do them. However, just be mindful of overstimulation or over mental stimulation. Try to take a break and make sure that you are grounding yourself during this time, because this could be very fast energy. And I mean, this could also manifest physically too, where it's just like you're doing a lot. So just kind of relax. Mercury will also be trining Neptune and Saturn. So you can get a lot of downloads, spiritually. If you have any type of speaking gigs, now will be a good time to practice those, and that energy will help you as far as being on stage or being in the public spotlight, anything like that. I mean, basically everything that we've learned thus far with Mercury retrograde is kind of like this energy of like, okay, now put it to the test. See what happens. Like, go out there and get it. So overall, I really, really like the energy of this full moon. It's really just new, because these planets are, within these first 5 degrees, I would say even 4 degrees. So it is just this new spark, new beginning, this fresh ignition, or it's, everything is being ignited is what I'm trying to say. Still in Mercury retrograde, guys, but overall, I just think, it'll be an important time to connect with people who really align with you, because you still want that sense of community, even though Aquarius is more detached. Like, you may notice that you feel more detached from your emotions. Things that usually trigger you no longer trigger you. It's like you could just see it. And this will be very helpful as, we've already talked about Chiron and retrograde, and as we're navigating these deeper wounds, it'll be really helpful to kind of have the energy of like, I don't have to be so in it. I can just detach and see what I need to see, work through it, and go about my day. So let me know how you guys are feeling and what you're excited for during this full moon. If you need more clarity, of course, you can read the blog. And I also have all of the rising sign horoscopes on the blog, as well as, of course, I offer astrological readings, transit check-ins, money readings, astrocartography readings, whatever you guys need. And I also have a 3-month coaching container, which basically combines everything that I do. So you can check that out as well on my website. But until next time, I'll see you in the next one.